So anyways, I say all this because we have plenty of room to run on these RSIs on Ethereum, which tells me we're in a good position. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's RSI. So daily is a little bit higher than ETH, but there's room. Weekly, some room. It's definitely more overbought than ETH is, which makes sense because if this is the last leg of the cycle, that actually makes tons of sense. It makes sense because as the last leg of the cycle actually takes place, that's when you see Ethereum finally outperform Bitcoin. Why does this give us that context? Well, because Bitcoin will become overbought much quicker than Ethereum does on this next leg up. So what people are going to do that are trading, that are using these indicators, they're going to take a look at Bitcoin. They're going to see it's become overbought before ETH does. So they're going to rotate their capital, rotate their profits, and rotate it right into what? Into Ethereum. Then Ethereum's going to have that big catch-up trade that finally we get that move up off the lows for Bitcoin for ETH BTC, and you see that pump. ETH will start to outperform Bitcoin. Why? Because there's going to be more opportunity for upside on a less overbought asset. Look at that. So there's confluence there. I like that. So this will top out first, and then you'll see ETH start to run really hard afterwards as the RSI, which is here on the daily, or monthly, that's day. Let's do daily. Well, here the RSI on the daily is much lower for Ethereum, right? You're going to see ETH run harder than Bitcoin on this next leg up, which has already been confluent with the price action that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Okay, good. Like that. Another cycle top indicator, ETH BTC, or excuse me, Sol ETH is breaking down. That's good for ETH. We like that. So Sol ETH is breaking down. Send it to Valhalla, or excuse me, send it to Hades. This as well right here. Here's altcoins. Okay, this is probably where we're at with altcoins. Let's take away these drawings. Oops. Any more brush. Where's the path? Delete that. Yeah. Okay. Delete these. Okay. This is the high we need to break. So just to give you a clearer view, this is where I believe we're at on this chart. That's fine. This is where I believe we're at on this chart for altcoins. Something like this, where you get this break. You had this run up in March of 24. You drew all the way down. Okay. You break the downtrend. You get a nice pop. You retest it. And you have one last death, one last new low after the break of trend. Okay. Locally here. This was November. So August 5th nuke, disgusting. You waited a month to September 5th, another low. You waited another month to October 5th, right here. You waited another month until November 5th, which is right here. I remember because every single month, I remember like it was yesterday, every single month, the first week of the month would put in the low and then be up only from the rest of the month. November 5th, then up only. So that was 1, 2, 3 months to put in the low, and then we move higher. So here was April, first week of the month again. So April 7th, so we got May 7th right here. Look at that. Put in the low again, big first week of the month. It's 1 month, May 7th, and June right here, another low. So that's 1, 2, and then the third month would be in July in here. So I bet you we get another move lower, either a new low, which would be pretty fucking disgusting, or a higher low or something in here, first week of July, and then you see that big fucking run up. So in my mind right now, I think the run up is coming up in July. I think July you're going to see a big pump in crypto. That's probably where you're going to get it. Okay. So that's where I see we're at on these others chart. Patience though, patience. Let's see what Bitcoin does, right? Let's see what Bitcoin does. Okay. And then what time is it? All right. So we can take a look at we can take a look at Pepe.